on the Nectar of Devotion, page number 35 through 38, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on January 31st, 1973, in Calcutta, India.
How much a devotee is seriously attached to the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood from the statement of Maharaj Prithu, Adhiraja, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, 21st verse. He prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead thusly: My dear Lord, if after taking liberation I have no chance of hearing the glories of your Lordship, glories chanted by pure devotees from the core of their hearts in praise of your lotus feet, and if I have no chance for this honey of transcendental bliss, then I shall never ask for liberation or this so-called spiritual emancipation. I shall simply always pray unto your Lordship that you may give me millions of tongues and millions of ears, so that I can constantly chant and hear of your transcendental glory.
Surpasses all kinds of liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberation: Sajujya, Saruppa, Salukka, Samitva. But a pure devotee does not want any of such liberation. Diyamanam nagindanti. Even liberation is offered, Krishna offers liberation very easily. But Krishna's personal touch is so sublime that Krishna is carrying order of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira is sending letter handed over to Krishna, and he is carrying to Duryodhana. So Narad was very much surprised that this stage of dependent on devotee is very, very difficult to achieve. To achieve liberation is not very difficult. But when Krishna becomes dependent on the order of a devotee, that is very difficult to achieve. So therefore, pure devotional service surpasses all kinds of liberation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also teaches, Mamo janmani janmani Ishare bhavatad bhakti rahaitu. Liberation means no more birth. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mamo janmani janmani. Birth after birth. But a devotee does not want anything of the material thing. Radhanang najanang na sundaring kamitang vajagati sukha. So this pure devotional service is a different subject matter. Dharma projita koitavatra. Therefore, Vyasdev says that all kinds of motivated religious system is rejected from devotion. Projita, koitava. Koitava means motivated. In devotional service, there is no motive, simply to serve Krishna. Anukullena Krishna, that is pure devotion. Wow.
The impersonalists desire to merge into the existence of the Supreme, but without keeping their individuality, they have no chance of hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because they have no idea of the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, there is no chance of their chanting and hearing of His transcendental activity.
They impersonalists take this chanting as means to attain liberation. They do not know that the chanting is the real chanting begins after liberation. Not that by chanting one reaches liberation. That's not the fact. Satatang kirtantam mam yatantascha diravrata. Satatang means after liberation also. This chanting will continue after liberation also. Not that after liberation chanting will finish. In Bhagavad Gita it says Satatam. Satatam means after liberation also. Before liberation and after liberation. Therefore it is Nitya. Nitya means it does not stop. Never stop. Satanam kirtantam mam jatantas tushanti cha namanti. Dirabrata. So, when you actually go to Golok Vrindavan, the same chanting will go on. Before Krishna, chanting will never stop.
In other words, unless one is already beyond liberation, one cannot relish the transcendental glories of the Lord, nor can one understand the transcendental form of the Lord. A similar statement is found in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter, 43rd verse. Sukadeva Goswami addresses Parikshit Maharaj there. He says, "The great soul of King Bharata was so much attached to the service of the lotus feet of Krishna that he very easily gave up his lordship over the earthly planet and his affection for his children, society, friends, royal opulence, and beautiful wife. He was so very lucky that the goddess of fortune was pleased to offer him all kinds of material concessions, but he never accepted any of these material opulences." Sukadeva Goswami eulogizes this behavior of King Bharata very highly. He says, "Any person whose heart is attracted by the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, not to speak of material opulences, does not care even for that liberation which is aspired to by many great sages."
This Maharaj Bharata was the son of Rishabdev, and after whose name this planet is called Bharatvarsh. The same Bharat Maharaj. He left this world at very young, 24 years. Young wife, children, kingdom, everything he left. Then he developed some attachment for a young deer, so he had to take the birth in the shape of a deer. The next birth, he remained silent, Jadabharat. The Jadabharat story is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, very enlightening. Wow.
In the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 11th chapter, 23rd verse, there is a similar statement by Vritasura, who addresses the Lord as follows: "My dear Lord, by leaving your transcendental service..."
Just see, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami, he is presenting his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, quoting from so many scriptures. Nana Shastra Vicharanaiko Nipuno. They were very, very expert in studying Shastra, very scrutinizing. Nana Shastra Vicharanaiko Nipuno Sadharma Samasthabako. Why they studied so much? Because they wanted to establish Sadharma, a real type of religion, bhakti. They are quoting that from so many Nana Shastra. Nana Shastra Vicharanaiko Nipuno Sadharma Samasthabako Lokanam Hitakarino. That is welfare activity. Lokanam Hitakarino. These people are trying to give some service to the Daridranarayan, but they do not know actually what is Jivedaya. This is Jivedaya. Lokanam Hitakarino. They should know things with reference to the authorized scripture. Not that I manufacture some word. according to my whims. That is not service to the other. That is misleading, disservice. Because if they are kept in ignorance, what is the value of such service? Yes, he does not manufacture anything. He is giving immediately evidence, reference to the authorized scripture. That is the way of presenting things. Not that I think in my opinion, what you are. But in Vaishnava philosophy, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was Krishna himself, whenever he spoke something, immediately he gave evidence from the Shastra. Even Krishna, while he was speaking Bhagavad Gita, he also gave reference to the Vedanta Sutra. Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva Hetumadhi Vinishchitam. He was giving reference to the Brahma Sutra. That is the way of authorized presentation. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he was also giving reference. He also said, Jasastas vidimotsajya vartate kamakaro. We cannot give up Shastra. If we give up Shastra, then Krishna says, na siddhing savabnati, na sukham na parangati. If we give up Shastra, if we manufacture our own words, own Shastra, they are all rascal. That should not be accepted. But here you see, Rupa Goswami is writing. The slok, number, canto, everything is given. Nana Shastra Vicharana, you know. Go on.
My dear Lord, by giving this transcendental service, I may be promoted to the planet called Dhruvaloka, the pole star, or I may gain lordship over all the planetary systems of the universe. But I do not aspire to this, nor do I wish the mystic perfections of yoga practice, nor do I aspire to spiritual emancipation. All I wish for, my Lord, is your association and transcendental service eternally. This statement is confirmed by Lord Shiva in the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, 17th chapter, 52nd verse, wherein Lord Shiva addresses Sati thus says, My dear Sati, persons who are devoted to Narayan, Krishna, are not afraid of anything. If they are elevated to the higher planetary systems, or if they get liberation from material contamination, or if they are pushed down to the hellish condition of life, or in fact, in any situation whatever, they are not afraid of anything, simply because they have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Narayan. For them, any position in the material world is as good as another.
Narayana parasarve na kutaschana vibhati sarga narakeshu api tullartha darshana. Sargapavarga narakeshu api tullartha darshana. Wow.
There is a similar statement by Indra, the king of heaven, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 18th chapter, 52nd verse. There Indra addresses his mother in this manner, My dear mother, Aditi, persons who have given up all kinds of desire and are simply engaged in devotional service to the Lord know what is actually their self-interest. Such persons are actually serving their self-interest and are considered first-class experts in the matter of advancing to the perfectional stage of life.
That is, everyone is after his self-interest, the real self-interest is approach Vishnu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Sura. And in the Bhagavad we say, Nati Vidu Sarthagating Vishnu. Sarthagati, our real self-interest is in Vishnu. They do not know. Bahirarthamani, no? Durasaya, Bahirarthamani. So, one who has fixed up to render service to Vishnu, Krishna, Vishnu aradhate pungsha, nannat tattosa karana. So, this is the ultimate goal of life, to approach Vishnu. And the origin of Vishnu is Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Krishna says, therefore he is origin of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. Sarvas. Aham Adirhi Devanam. Devanam begins, the Deva, demigods begins from Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, then other demigods. So Krishna says, Aham Adirhi Devanam.
In the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, 6th chapter, 23rd verse, Maharaj Srila says, my dear friends who are born into atheistic families, if you can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then there is nothing more rare in this world. In other words, if the Supreme Lord Krishna is pleased with you, then any desire that you may have within the core of your heart can be fulfilled without any doubt. As such, what is the use of elevating yourself by the results of fruitive activities, which are automatically achieved in all events by the modes of material nature?
Yes. In the Shastra, it is said, Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udaradhi tibdena bhakti yogena jajeta paramam. Akama, there are three classes of man. Akama, without kama, without any desire. That is devotee. And sarvakama means the karmis and moksha kama, the jnanis. So, whatever you may be, you can engage yourself in devotional service. Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udara. Tibrena bhakti yogena jajita param purusha. Your desires will be fulfilled. Even if you are thinking like karmi, still you can take to devotional service, your desires will be fulfilled. Krishna is so kind. Whatever you desire, he will fulfill.
And what is the use for you of spiritual emancipation or liberation from material bondage? If you are always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord and always relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, then there is no necessity for any of these. By this statement of Prahlad Maharaj, it is clearly understood that one who takes pleasure in chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord has already surpassed all kinds of material benedictions, including the result of pious activities, pious fruitive activities, sacrifices, and even liberation from material bondage. Similarly, in the same 7th canto, 8th chapter, 39th verse, when the demigods are offering prayers to Lord Nrsimha, Indra, the King of Heaven says, O Supreme One, these demons talk of our share of participation in the performance of ritualistic sacrifices, but simply by your appearance as Lord Nrsimhadev, you have saved us from terrible fears. Actually, our shares in the sacrificial performances are due to you only, because you are the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. You are the super soul of every living entity, and therefore you are the actual owner of everything. Long were our hearts always filled with fear of this demon, Hiranyakashipu, but you are so kind towards us that by killing him, you have removed that fear from within our hearts, and have given us the chance to place your lordship within our hearts again. For persons who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of your lordship, all the opulences which were taken away from us by the demons are counted as nothing. Devotees do not even care for liberation, not to speak of these material opulences. Actually, we are not enjoyers of the fruits of sacrifices. Our only duty is to be always engaged in your service, for you are the enjoyer of everything. The purport of this statement by Indra is that, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, no living entities are meant for enjoying the material opulences. They are simply meant for offering everything to the Supreme Proprietor, the Personality of Godhead. By doing so, they automatically enjoy the benefits. The example can be cited again of the different parts of the body, collecting foodstuffs and cooking them so that ultimately a meal may be offered to the stomach. After it has gone to the stomach, all the parts of the body equally enjoy the benefit of the meal. So similarly, everyone's duty is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and then automatically everyone will become satisfied.
That is called yoga. Yoga cannot say karma. Go on.
A similar verse is found in the 8th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 20. Gajendra says there, "My dear Lord, I have no experience in the transcendental bliss derived from your devotional service. So therefore, I have asked from you some favor. But I know that persons who are pure devotees and have, by serving the lotus feet of great souls, become freed from all material desires, are always merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss, and as such are always satisfied simply by glorifying your auspicious characteristics. For them there is nothing else to aspire to or pray for." In the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, 49th verse, the Lord of Vaikuntha replies to Durvasa Muni, "My pure devotees are always satisfied being engaged in devotional service, and therefore they do not aspire even after the 5 liberated stages, which are 1. To be one with me, 2. To achieve residence on my planet, 3. To have my opulences, 4. To possess bodily features similar to mine, and 5. To gain personal association with me." So, when they are not interested even in these liberated positions, you can know how little they care for material opulences or material liberation.
All right, chant please.